go.
Can I start?
Yeah,
You may. Go for it.
You're both very different candidates, as we've seen from both presentations. What is unique to your, like, you being president over, like, just being, what's unique about yourself?
Ollie first.
What's unique about me? I'd say I'm quite unique in the way, the character I am in the society. I'm quite vocal and quite noisy, but particularly as a person, I'm very passionate about the things I get involved with. So I'm going to put absolutely everything into this if I get it, and I don't. That's it really for that one.
Okay, not to sound like a dead horse because I've said this about 3 million times, but I am like new, and I don't mean like, oh no, it's got it, therefore he must be amazing. It's quite opposite to that really. But what I really am taking to the council is like this. I'm new to uni and new to everything, and it's kind of like what's going to keep me coming back really. And I did have a really good point, but that is kind of the main point to that answer, that I am new and I will hopefully bring new people in, not people that have been here for 2-3 years.
John.
Right, so as president, one of the main things in your role is you are actually liable for pretty much everything that goes on. And at the end of the day, this can lead to you being the fall guy. We have seen this once before, and that would just do quite a catastrophic effect. What would you do to kind of deal with this? How would you safeguard yourself for what could be quite a turbulent experience for yourself?
Yeah, sure. Well, in answer, I can't do anything really, can I? I am going to be the fall guy, you know? I will have to take full responsibility if we're given the role. That's kind of the biggest thing that comes with this. Like, you are the face, you are the person that is responsible. So it's less of what we'll do to avoid it and how we'll tackle it. It's more how we tackle it if it actually comes to that. And my answer to that question is that with, the utmost, respect for whoever has the problem, and like, you have to be like, that's just really confident. Even if you've made a major fuck up, you're going to have to face it, the brunt of it, and you're going to have to respect that this is what I'm choosing to do right now. So basically, that's kind of the only answer I can really give you.
Similar thing really. If it all goes wrong like that, it is really, it's kind of right that I'm the fall guy, because it will be my fault if it's all gone that badly wrong and it all like crumbles like that. So yeah, it is a case of not letting that happen and making sure I'm seeing the danger signs of things going wrong far before they actually happen, and doing everything I can to prevent that.
I've seen presidents step down and break down and take lots and lots and lots of flack. How are you going to deal with the pressure of being president?
Drugs. Sorry, no, you go.
Well, mine's the same. Right? I suppose, like, dealing with pressure, I've dealt with a lot of pressure before in the things I've been involved with, like organising other events. It's like Explorers is a big example of that, and it's just something you sort of got to deal with and sort of put things into perspective of what's a big problem, what's a small problem, and sort of tackle things that way, and prioritise what you need to get around to first and what's the most important thing.
It's finally, being new has its advantages. I am only in year 2 next year, which means I'm not as swamped as a year 3 student. What year are you in?
2 now.
Moving into
yeah.
3. So no, I would be in year 2, which means I'll have more free time. I mean, whoever's in year 2 knows the kind of schedule, like how much, because you've got to put a lot of work into your work, obviously. But then I will have so much free time on like the weekends, holidays to like pour into this and like pour my heart and soul into this. And it's like, as the president, you really are just putting your entire I'd say career, but it's kind of like your representation within this society with this group of people. So I would say, in answer to your question, you just have to give it your all. And I with all the free time and communicating with the council, it's kind of just like, you just got to give it your all or nothing at all. There you go, that rhymed.
Bob.
What do you, specifically, each of you, what do you see the role as president as? What do you actually think a president is, and what do you need to do as president?
You want to go first or still me?
I don't mind.
Will first, I think.
Okay. So I see the president not as like the overseer, like I think you think I can see it. I don't see it as like some dude that's like, you do this, you do this, you do this, and I'm gonna sit down. I think of it as you're the guy who comes up with ideas along with everyone else, but you're the guy that thinks, what about if we do this, and poses the idea to people? And you're the guy that, as was said, is the fall guy. You're the guy that is the face. You are, if someone says, Lincoln Gaming Society, you go to the president first, and that isn't me being like, whatever, that's me just being brutally honest from like, an outsider. So if you thought, the president of the United States, you wouldn't just think someone else, you'd think Obama or whatever, you'd think exactly that. So when I heard of this role, and when I heard of being the president of something, I honestly thought it was you were there, and that's you. You're everything is on the line for this, and you, as much as everyone comes up with the ideas, once the idea is done, and when it's like in motion, anything happens after that, after the initial idea and the execution, that's when the president means like something, like it means that you are that person. You are like if someone of authority comes down and says, who's in charge of this? It's the president. That's what honestly I think the president's done.
I think the president is, not only is it like the face of the society, it's the way people get into the society. It's sort of in charge of the way people find the society, like how they become a part of it, and while they're there, the kind of experience they have is down to the president massively. But not only that, it's things like maintaining the safety of the people there. Like, it seems like an obvious thing, but like people get in trouble, things happen. You've got to be able to not only just sort of enjoy yourself as part of the society, but also be able to put on that sort of stern face of, I know this needs to happen, that's not right. And also just being part of the team, like the council is a big part. It's not just you, but you're what brings them together.
So, Freshers' Fair is obviously your sort of first big chance to, present yourself as president. The president is sort of the brand of the society, in terms of like what you said, you are the face of the society. What would your role be at the Freshers' Fair, and what would your brand be in terms of selling the people, the society?
The brand, I think, for me would be very much approachability. Like, I'd be the one at that desk talking to freshers. Their first person they would speak to, say, this is what we're about. You will enjoy this. The people here are fantastic, and just encouraging people to just want to become a part of it. Not just, I'm not sure. You've got to find that way to make them really think this is for me. This is going to enhance my university experience. And I think that planning has to start well before the Freshers' Fair, in terms of making that sort of the most sort of optimal way you can get people to want to be part of the society.
Right. My answer is, I don't want to copy him, so I'm going to take it a bit different route. Like, in the Freshers' Fair, you have 30 to 40 seconds to make someone want to come to your society. You have that niche bit of time to draw someone aside and be like, do you like games? What kind of games? This sort of game. Do you like people that like playing games? And then this. So my kind of approach to it would be, I think all the council members, I don't think I'd be the first they talk to, if I'm being honest. Everyone's going to be, wanting to draw people in. That's why they're on the council. Everyone's going to know, what to ask. I'm the person that they come to if they want to ask anything else. And I'm obviously going to be there talking to people, but I'm the one that's going to be reassuring them that their sort of games will be implemented. And even taking suggestions from people at that early stage about what to put into people that will make people come. So as a brand, as the beginning, we put the the good old classic games out, and we draw in the people that oh my god, love games from their childhood, and you want to bring in new and old titles, and that's what draw people in. But then you also want to have the anime, that sort of kind of niche audience, and you want to put maybe just the odd board game just place it really prominently, so people are I like that one as well. And it's kind of the reason I chose gaming over the other one is because it had everything. It wasn't confined. So that's kind of what I'm going to be going for. Let's go again.
let's say you have a council member that's not turning up to meetings, not turning up to sessions, not submitting paperwork in time, like they're just generally being shit.
Firing squad.
How would you deal with that? It's you first.
It's me.
Yes.
I've been noting then. Well, obviously, being serious, obviously you'd get them to a location where you would talk, I personally would talk to them, find out why, and quite honestly, like, you tell them, because you are like, you are the face of it, you need everyone working, you need everyone doing their bit, otherwise the society won't run. So you tell them, like, blunt, you don't try and sugarcoat it, you like, this is what you signed up to do, this is what you need to do, and like, obviously if their reason's really good, then like, if it's like family stuff, you kind of give them a little bit of a break, but you tell them like, this, it needs to happen, like, this is how it runs, like, you basically say what everyone's been saying that the presidency is, it's like, you work with people, like, it's not you, I'm not, I can't do it all, I need everyone doing their thing. So basically the answer is you just tell them, like, that is it. You tell them what they should already know, that their role is essential.
I'd sort of say that you'd seek them out and you'd be considerate of potentially there might be something you don't know about that's the reason why they're not doing so well. But also you've got to remind them that this is like a big commitment, and they've signed up for this and they want to be a part of it, and they've got to give literally everything. But if things are overwhelming them, that's why you have a council and it's not run by one person. That's why you have people that can help somebody out if it's a particularly troubling time for them, and if they really are just terrible, then I suppose like that's the sort of thing you bring up in front of the rest of the council. You'd say, we don't think you're doing this right. We'd like you to change, really, and we're prepared to help you do that.
Similarly to that, say you have a problem member that's royally kicking off and making a scene and just being an arse, how would you deal with that situation?
You say, right, son. No, I'm sorry.
You say, right, son. That's the sort of thing where you've got to sort of look after, is this like, if this is happening at sort of maybe a council meeting, then it's probably not a wise idea to carry on with the council and just turn it into an argument. It's probably the sort of thing where you want to sort of end it there, but like make it known to them that they have let the council down, they've let like their whole team down and their responsibilities down, and like if that's sort of the thing that they're gonna keep doing, or if that's it for them, then you've got to really do your best to try and find somebody else, because then if they're not like pulling their slack, then the council's not going to do as well, and therefore the members aren't going to have as beneficial and as enjoyable a time at the university.
Right, let's be honest. If someone's being a dick and everyone knows they're being a dick, you're going to want to say you're being a massive dick. But that's why being the president's different, right? Because you're going to have to not say you're a dick. You're going to say, right, can I have a word with you outside? And that's when you tell them to be a dick. That's when you say, that's when you tell them honestly, that's when you're saying that you know you're annoying everyone. We get that you have this point, and you can have that point, but you have to, this is a committee, this isn't a dictatorship. And you have to go, look, your point is so valid to yourself, and we know that you have this idea, and it's kind of like what Rebecca said, and that we have to integrate your idea somehow, the good bits of your idea, but then we have to work together to kind of change the bad bits of your idea. So, you're gonna have to, as the president, like, I mean, any other role could, probably tell them they're a dick, probably get away with it, but it's the president that's the one that has to take kind of the high road and kind of go, right, just calm down, you're kicking everyone off, come on, we can do this, it's gaming, we're meant to have fun here. That's honestly what I would do.
Any more questions?
Oh my god, please say we're done. Right, we good? Okay, let's do it.
Let's go. Bit of a long-winded one, but ex-president. So
Right, stand down, people.
I'm doing the good old as ex-president. You're running for something that's got huge responsibility. You're kind of almost like taking the brand. The brand's been said a lot today. You're almost like carrying the mantle with you. And from that, you're kind of always having to convey yourself and your council in a good light. So, you want people to be enjoying themselves every session. You don't want any uncomfortable scenarios. So, from my experience, the greatest fear as president is your council being up in arms with each other. you could be like a neutral party, and both of them could be wrong. Say that you've got 4 other council members, there could be 2 on one side, 1 neutral. What would you put in place to firstly prevent that happening at all? And then what if it went really deep into it and it was already happening and everyone's kicking off about it? How would you stop something that?
Okay, right. So basically, what would happen is, for the first scenario, which is how to prevent it, what you do is in meetings, you would just say an idea and then you'd open up the floor, which kind of you might think would spark argument, but I like to think more it spark kind of debate. Like, there's a really like thick line between arguing and debating. Like, if you can see people like really getting at each other, that's when you draw it back and kind of, okay, let's move on. And even though the situation might be 100% resolved, that might be one of the only like couple of things that aren't unanimous. Because I'm being quite realistic here. I mean, the people on the council who have run today, who are going to be the council next year, we all get along. There's no like 2 people that we think in the back of our heads, oh, we've got a there together, that's going to be at it all the time. It's kind of like, we know we're meant to be mature here, and you should think of yourself to be mature, and that we shouldn't do it. But if it does happen, which is the next part, and if there is like this massive dispute going on, you draw it back to a meeting, maybe not a regular scheduled one, so they know it's something unique, and then you just go, right, we need to get this sorted because we're not going to be able to be as productive, we're not going to be able to do anything really 100% unless we get everyone on the same page. And that's when you kind of go through it. Like, this is where being like the president really like stands out, because you have to be professional about it. You have to like say, right, you have to be totally neutral no matter what you think, and that's kind of what like I honestly think being the president's about. So I can't say it would be resolved 100% because we know that arguments sometimes niggle the back post. But as long, in my opinion, as long as for the meetings and as for the sessions, we can be as professional as possible and get the most highest quality sessions we can and the highest participation rate, I think that'll be fine.
Like in the council meetings, you're gonna I'd start off with it's going to be a very open council. It's going to be people are going to be able to air their concerns with each other. It's not going to like boil under the surface to that point where it finally sparks and that's it. Like 2 people are constantly hating each other for their time on the council. And so with that, it would I like to think it would stop arguments because you'd see things earlier. If someone's got a concern, you can say it, and people won't judge each other for that. And if it does get to that point where people are 2 people are really arguing and really constantly going at it on the council, I think I'd have to speak to them together, but outside of the council, and say look, this isn't what the council is about. This isn't this is affecting the actual members' enjoyment of the council, and at the end of the day, they signed up. They'll know that they wanted the best possible council to come from them being on it, and I think that's enough to sort of make anyone realise that what they're doing is wrong, as well as not even if 2 people dislike each other, it's not right that affects everyone else.
Any more questions?